Good evening. So, real zombies and body snatchers live among us. And I've really never given it that much thought that there could be really zombies that are real and body snatchers. You know, you hear the scary movies, Invasion of the Body Snatchers and the zombie apocalypse and stuff like this. This is I love this picture. Let's look how beautiful the picture looks. I'm looking at it from an artistic point of view, and the graphics are wonderful. They did a wonderful job putting the graphics on here, you all. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? If you love art, if you like insects, if you like, I guess, this is microbiology or something like this, if you're entomologist or something like that, you all, if you like science, then you might like this, because it is true. So, real zombies and body snatchers. And this is an article. I'm going to read the article. We're going to look at it together, you all, because, yeah, you know what we can do? We can put it on this screen right here. That's what we can do. I think I'm going to try to do it. Okay, I've got this on me. I do. Let me come over here. Actually, I can come over here. We're going to look at the body snatchers and the real life zombies because they live among us. That's what they do. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Yes, art and music. Yes, Michelle, Honey, Michael, Frank, Muddy, Christine, Neil, Ante. Yes. Hello there. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. We're going to look at this beautiful piece of art. But what we're going to have to do is, I think I've got the article pulled up, but I've got to do this. We're going to get over here. We're going to look at it. I got it pulled up. I'm going to slide this to the side, and I'm going to do a window capture. And I'm going to capture that window. Isn't it beautiful? Look at that, you all. We can look at the thing with my face on here. I can join the body snatchers. Oh, my goodness, you all. So I think this is it. Let me do this. I'm going to try to make this. If I can make this fit in here, we're going to get it going. It's perfect. It is perfect. I just don't want to be in the way of the body snatcher article. And it really does have a lot of good information in it if you're just tuning in. A ton of information. That's right. Hello there, everyone. Welcome. Aloha. Speaking of aloha, the observatories in Hawaii still has not updated their live cams since the 7th of December, or their cloud cam. The webcam or the cloud cam. One is still stuck on the 6th of December. The other is still stuck on the 7th of December. I guess we have brought too much traffic to the CFHTs in Hawaii. Way too much traffic, and they have not updated their live streams. They haven't. They're keeping it all to themselves. They're time lapse. But we're going to be talking about the zombies here, you all, is what we're going to talk about. Zombies and body snatchers among us. Aloha, Neil. Oh, hello there, Neil. Yes, that's right. And I do. I like looking at the observatories. I really do. So look, when Roberto Garcia Roa set off into the Peruvian jungle. How's this look on this end? Let's see. Oh, it looks perfect. We can make it a little bit bigger so we can see it. I try to get this set up like this so we can see it really pretty cool so you can read it. And yeah, we can do it. We are doing it, you all. That's right. Let me do this for a second. It is a lot of air. A lot of light on me. You all, this is important. It really is. So, let's put myself right here just for one momento. Let me try to make this a little bit filtered on me. If I can do it. Let's put some gamma. Take away some of the gamma if I can. It's like that, right? Okay, I got it. No, I don't got it. Okay, when Roberto Garcia went into the Peruvian jungle one morning, he wasn't expecting to come face to face with a shriveled zombie. An evolutionary biologist at the University of Valencia in Spain was exploring the Tambopata National Reserve, a slice of tropical rainforest in Peru, southeast corner. So look at this. He found something else. An unrivaled situation for lovers of the hidden universe. Perched atop a leaf, its head was resembling a raisin. So you know it must have been this one right here, because that looks like a head of a raisin. Do you all think it is? Hello there, Apple Brooks, honey. The head of a raisin, you all. Let's look at that head. This really is a beautiful piece of art. It is. I can see the beauty even in this right here. That's right. He saw his head like a raisin. Let's see where are we at, you all? Because I got myself all sidetracked. It's a parasitic zombie fungus from the genus Aphocridiceps, a notorious gang of real-world body snatchers. These fungi insect flies, ants, and other insects feast from the inside out. And also they control their host's movement, forcing them to relocate to higher areas. So the parasite then produces a fruiting body that erupts through the host's exoskeleton, you all. The whole entire exoskeleton, the parasite produces fruiting bodies that erupt, and they release what parasitologist Gabor Rasko's spore bombs. Spore bombs, you all. That's right. They're going to release the spore bombs. Look at this. A parasitologist. I never knew that was the name of them. Did you all know that was the name of them? A parasitologist? Spore bombs into the body, and they rain down from their high position, infecting as many nearby insects as possible. That's right. If you think that's ghastly, wait till you hear about the wasp that takes over the mind of the cockroach. It saddles up and it rides it all the way home as the ultimate packed lunch for its offspring. You all, that is gross. That's pretty colors. That is kind of pretty colors, but I do not like that right there as a piece of art. I don't, you all. I have to admit it. I don't like it. It's a member of the parasitic fungus genus called Ophiocordyceps. They seek out their insect hosts is what they do. So the parasitism is rampant in the natural world, and nearly half of all animal species, we're an animal too, you all, kind of like it, kind of sort of like a mammal, are parasites. For example, and a large number of these uninvited plus one manipulate their host's behavior in some way to produce an advantage for themselves. And they occasionally take complete control of the organism that they have invaded. And thanks to the advances in imaging and molecular analysis, scientists are now able to understand some of the insidiously clever ways the body snatchers take over their victims, you all. And yes, humans are at risk from a few of them, you all. Us humans are at risk from a few of these parasites. Fortunately, however, our relatively young age as a species means most parasites haven't had time to figure out how to turn us into compliant hosts. They haven't. So insects have been around for millions of years, and many of these parasites have been around for hundreds of millions of years. Isn't that interesting, you all? Hundreds of millions of years. Yes. Oh, Cat W, honey, you didn't lose me. Gina, honey, still here. We can do it. Yes. So I don't want to be a compliant host to a parasite, but I do like I like this, come back here. I like this word right here, parasitologist. It's a new word. Parasitologist, parasite. Parasitologist, you learned something new today. A parasitologist. It's pretty cool. It's rampant. It's rampant. So, a couple years ago, this person watched the movie The Host, and the aliens took over the people and they controlled them, you all. They took over the people and controlled the people. Let's see where we're at, you all. It's a good movie, but I was watching it as a parasitologist, he said, and a biologist, and that level of control is impossible. Insects have a much simpler body plan. So before you breathe a sigh of relief, let's see this, y'all. Before you breathe a sigh of relief, consider that while the parasites are generally not great at grabbing the reins of complex organisms, the ones that can manipulate the behavior of their hosts tend to be very, very good at it, you all. You know that aliens, so the host, I can't remember what the host was, that we get in there, get in the people. I didn't watch that movie, and I don't think I want to watch it because it's probably kind of scary. A symbiotic relationship. The parasites usually target some kind of simple hormonal system, you all, or neurotransmitters. This is really interesting because I didn't know hardly any of this about this, about parasites. It's not fine-tuned control, but more about triggering some existing behavior. Let me make myself smaller, you all, so we can see this. So take the cockroach riding wasp. Let's see the cockroach riding wasp. Is that on here? There we go. It rides the cockroach. Right here. A cockroach riding wasp. Look at those colors, you all. This really pretty colors. It is. Look at that. It's really neat how colorful some insects are. It looks dangerous because it's so beautiful. It's like people. They look dangerous. They're so beautiful. Watch out because they're probably really dangerous, you all. Well, no, not truly, but they could be. Some could be. So the arms race doesn't exist, and it's static, and the parasite is winning. This is the thing, you all. So the cockroach riding wasp. The female jewel wasp attacks an American cockroach with a 1-2 punch, or rather sting, that targets precise areas of its nervous system. The first strike partly immobilizes the roach. The second, with a literally mind-altering cocktail of venom delivered into a specific part of the brain. It allows the wasp, this is gross, to climb up on the roach's back, grab its antenna, and lead it back to her nest. She's riding it. Oh my God. She's riding the roach. There she lays the eggs in the still living and now immobile roach and leaves, and the wasp offsprings eat their way out of the roach. You all know that is, oh my gosh, that is, Yes. That's right. Frederick Lieberset, a neurobiologist. Let's see this. Thomas Sunderman, yes. I did say that. You got to be watching out. You cannot judge a book by its cover because, you know, they may be beautiful on the outside, but on the inside, that's where you got to look first, right there on the inside. That's what Gina Honey said. Beautiful on the outside, you better look at what's on the inside. You better make sure the inside matches the outside. Okay, that's what you better do because there's a lot of pretty people in the world saying lots of pretty things, but what's on the inside of them, really, truly, how you don't know what goes on behind the camera. When they're not in front of the camera, when they're not right out there, you don't know what type of person that person is. You do not know whatsoever. You only see one part of them, and some people are pretty straight on. They stick to a certain narrative, and they follow that narrative to the T. Now, I can't do that because I'm all over the place, so I like to share my life with others, okay? I really do like to be out there. That's right. So we can do this. So look at this. So Frederick Lieberset, a neurobiologist at Ben Gurion University of the Negev in Israel, is a senior author of the journal Experimental Biology paper. So we can see this, published in May, revealed new details of how the jewel wasp controls her host through, how she control it, through specific chemicals, particularly dopamine. I didn't know that. Librset says the genius of many of those host manipulating parasites is that the host cannot evolve its way out of the situation. Evolution. Okay, so we have these insectoids. They say that there are these queen insectoids, a form of alien species, you all. They do. So evolution is often a classic arms race. A mollusk-eating crab will eventually develop a larger, more powerful claws as the mollusk evolves an ever thicker shell. For example, when it comes to a parasitic relationship involving host manipulation, the arms race does not exist. It's static, and the parasite is winning, you all. You don't want to have a zombie thing going on. Zombies and parasites living on the inside of you. You really don't, because you then become their host. So here's that. We're still on that B right there. Evolution is a classic. Okay, so that's because the host manipulating parasites often flood the organism's system with chemicals that it already needs to function in much smaller amounts, so that it can hijack the existing systems. So the hormone dopamine and the neurotransmitter GABA both help to regulate the movement in organisms, from hapless cockroaches to human beings. Did you know that? I didn't know that. I've never heard of GABA, the neurotransmitter GABA. The female jewel wasp venom is loaded with both chemicals, allowing her to first immobilize and then control the roach, you all, like that. Control the roach. You can see it. It's a very smart of the parasite to tap into something that the animal has no way not to use. So chemicals such as dopamine are so fundamental to organisms' basic function that it can't simply evolve out of needing them. Yeah. So let's see this, you all. Now this is really informative. You really do want to listen to it. You do. You can't say the way I'm going to fight in this arms race is to remove all the dopamine in my central nervous system, and this the way the parasite won't have an effect on me. It won't work, you all. It will not work. You can't remove the dopamine. Okay, so while scientists have long documented these kinds of parasitic relationships, it's been only in the last few years that Librset and his colleagues in the emerging field of neuroparasitology have been able to explain what is actually happening on a molecular level. Most of the studies done before were descriptive. They showed some manipulation, and that's very fascinating, and it was, but they hadn't pinned down the mechanism, you all. Now, thanks to the ability to turn specific chemical receptors on and off in organisms, either by injecting pharmacological agents or through genetic modification, and to observe results using micro-CT scans and other techniques, researchers are increasingly able to pinpoint exactly what's happening in both the host and the parasite. So much of the host's manipulating skills of parasites remains unknown. While Librset and his peers have made considerable progress in understanding how some parasites control a host movement, for example, the mechanism behind the more complex behavior, manipulation remains elusive. For instance, the caterpillar of the Japanese oak blue butterfly secretes a sugary goo that ants find delicious. So the sweet treat is laced with chemicals that make the ant stay close to the caterpillar and also behave aggressively toward its potential predators. Presto, then they got an instant bodyguard, you all. The instant bodyguard from this is really beautiful colors on here. It really is. Oh my goodness, you all. That's a pretty butterfly. The cocktail that the caterpillar serves, Muddy Girl, thank you, is not fully understood, and it does appear to affect the ants' dopamine levels and making them less easily to wander away, you all. To wander away because they got this big old insect. The mechanisms that causes what scientists call suicidal behavior, such as infected crickets that drown themselves to release parasitic horsehair worm larvae into water, remains largely unknown as well. But such behavior is typically connected to the larval parasite moving from intermediate to final host, where it will reproduce. When they jump host, the intermediate host has to be sacrificed. So most of the odd behaviors, when they modulate the behavior of the host, happen when they are in the intermediate host, you all. So you all, if you're just tuning in, this is about body snatchers and parasites living amongst us. And I'm just reading the article because it's really informative. It really is. Consider the parasitic lancet river fluke, which has a complex life cycle involving multiple hosts. The penultimate of which is the ant. The ants eat slimy mucus-coated lumps produced by infected snails. Oh my gosh, that contain late-stage fluke larvae. Once ingested, at least one of the larvae finds its way to a particular part of the insect's brain. This is pretty cool. The same area targeted by a jewel wasp in a cockroach brain. Once the ant's brain is infected, it does something no normal ant would do. It climbs up and then latches onto the top of a blade of grass or a flower that at just the right height to be eaten by the final host. That is wild. A grazing animal, usually a sheep or a cow, they come by and they accidentally ingest the infected ant, and the flatworm finishes its life cycle in the ruminant. The authors of the 2018 paper published scientific reports were able to document the fluke larvae's presence in that area of the ant's brain through micro CT scans, but were not able to determine how it forced the ant to offer itself up to a passing cow. Body snatching parasites, you all. How is this, you all? I hope this is all right, you all, because this is had a really pretty picture on it, and I didn't know about these living among us. I really never even thought about it. Didn't at all. But it's got pretty graphics, and it's got a lot of information into this article that I think a lot of people may find very useful and interesting. Knowledge is power. It really is. So you can be on the lookout for these parasites. You all watch their behavior if you ever come in contact with them. Body snatching parasites. Did we do this, you all? Yeah, they don't have to get into the host's brain to gain control. The parasitic fungus that attacked the fly, Garcia Roa photographed in Peru, simply built its own communication network. Oh my gosh. Into the insect's muscles. It built its own communication network into the insect's muscles. You remember that picture right here? This is what it looked like. Let me get this over here, you all. This insect, this parasitic thing, it built its neural network in the muscles of the insect. It controlled it that way. Isn't that wild? It reminds me of a mushroom spore. It does. When the mushrooms get old, they do their thing, just shrivel up, they spore, and they get this color. It looks like a big old mushroom, really, like a dried out mushroom. It does. It does kind of look like a fungus, too, if you want to know the truth. They build their own insect network in the muscles. Another genus of parasitic fungus does something similar to spiders. According to a 2021 paper in the Canadian Journal of Zoology, Gibelia infected spiders like Ophiocordyceps infected insects climb to a higher position than the uninfected spiders. Then they stretch out and they become enveloped by the fungus. The parasite then eats the spider aside from its exoskeleton and sends up dozens of fruiting bodies, and the end result is an eerily fuzzy spider-shaped course shedding spores on everything below. Oh, wow. That is wild looking, you all. That really is wild looking. Look at that. That's really pretty colors too. It doesn't even look like a spider anymore. Isn't that interesting? It's living. It is so living. That is wild. It's so wild. It really is. Yes. Oh, Neil, honey, that's okay. You don't need to eat. You can take a break from eating. You can. While the cockroach riding wasp, the suicidal ants, and the spore bomb spiders might be nightmare fodder, the greatest zombifying threats to our species are less dramatic. The single-cell parasite, Toxoplasma gondii, has infected an estimated 1 billion people, according to a 2020 paper in the journal Parasites and Vectors. Though others estimate that number at more than 3 billion. While most people are asymptomatic, infection can be deadly for infants and people with weakened immune system. Even non-fatal cases of toxoplasmosis can result in hallucinations and other psychotic symptoms when the parasite settles in the brain tissue. Yeah. So let's see this, you all. While the Wally parasite can find a home in almost any part of any warm-blooded organism, from chickens to beluga whales. It's when it's nestled in the brain that it's able to manipulate behavior to its advantage. A 2021 review of existing toxoplasmosis research found numerous examples in which animals infected with T. gondii became less fearful of their natural predators and often more reckless, leading to an increased risk of being eaten. Oh my gosh. Because they were less fearful and they became more reckless, you all. So you see what happened to them. They're going to get, oh my gosh. Infected hyena cubs were almost 4 times more likely than healthy cubs to be eaten by lions, and infected chimpanzees showed less aversion to the scent of urine from cheetahs, their only natural predator. So numerous studies have found toxoplasmosis can raise testosterone levels in infected animals, you all. How did they know that these animals had this infection unless a study was done on them in a controlled manner? Really? How did they know? If you just studying the behavior of them. This is really wild. I didn't know any of this. Numerous studies have found toxoplasmosis can raise, we said the testosterone level in infected animals. Okay, so we did that. Aggressive behavior. It can count for loss of fear and sometimes aggressive behavior seen in multiple species, including humans. So if you're a human, and if you are like the animals, because they say they have found toxoplasmosis can raise the testosterone levels in infected animals. And it could lead to account for the loss of fear and sometimes aggressive behavior seen in multiple species, including humans. Now, I don't know if I guess only guys have raised testosterone levels. I don't think women do they? I don't think they do. For all of this, we humans, along with many other animals, are just collateral damage on the parasite's relentless drive to reproduce. Oh my goodness gracious, Shua, this is wild. The final host of T. gondii, after all, is the cat. Either wild or domestic, the parasite must find its way into a feline to complete its life cycle. Oh my goodness. Muddy girl, honey, let me pause for a moment. I didn't feel like sharing anything earlier today. I said I can't share nothing if I don't have nothing to share, and I can't. I can't just get on here and share anything. So I just waited, and I was on my cell phone, and somehow I saw that pretty picture. I don't even know what I was looking up to see it. It showed up on my phone. I thought, oh, that is so pretty. And then I thought, oh, wow, it's a parasite. It's a zombie. We can do this. Zombie apocalypse. It's parasites among us. Yes, how it happened. I don't even know how it happened, really, but that's how it happened. Has led researchers to suggest listen, okay, so y'all, let's get this. So the final cat, we got the cat. The final host of the Gandhi is the cat. Either wild or domestic, the parasite must find its way into the feline to complete its life cycle. The ease with which humans can be infected through contaminated food, water, or air, or possibly via sexual transmission has led some researchers to suggest that our relationship with the parasite is one of the oldest in our lineage, going back millions of years to when our ancestors were tasty meals for lions and other big cats. Oh my goodness gracious. There's one other group of host manipulating parasites that casts a long shadow on the human story, you all. We're going to have to listen to this. Lysaviriasis have haunted mammals, including us, for as long as any of us has been around. Members of this genus cause inflammation of the brain that leads to an insatiable thirst, aggression, and other symptoms that may seem erratic, but are all in service to the virus's goal of spreading to other animals. You may not know the genus by name, but you know the disease it can cause, rabies. Rabies, you all. The disease, it looks like it's got rabies too, you all. That's right, rabies. While most other viruses multiply in lung, skin, or other tissues, says Rex, the rabies virus is interesting because it specifically attacks the nerve cells. And once it gets into the nerve cells, it's incurable. The natural host of most Lyssae viruses are typically canids, foxes, dogs, wolves, though bats, raccoons, and skunks are also common vectors. Once the animal is infected, it usually becomes aggressive. It loses its fear response, just like we read earlier with some other virus, and it salivates with excessive thirst. That don't make me thirsty. They're not lethargic and hiding away and dying. They're actually restless and they move large distances. The virus is transmitted through a bite or saliva. So the changes in an infected animal's behavior directly enhance the chance of a successful spread. But Rass is quick to add that mind-controlling parasites are not that common in mammals, which is a human. We don't have too many examples, and maybe that's a good one. And here's more good news. While these host-manipulating parasites can be frightening, they can also be important for understanding why our brains and bodies behave as they do when we're perfectly healthy. These fungi, viruses, and single-celled organisms have had millions of years to learn the ins and outs of their intended hosts, something scientists have only been studying for a couple of centuries. It gives us a window on how the behavior is generated, even in the simple animals, because we have other animals that manipulate the circuits. These parasites are nature's neurobiologists. He adds with a note of respect, neurobiologists try to find the neural mechanisms of a given behavior. They investigate the circuits that are involved in producing the behavior, and then they manipulate them pharmacologically. pharmacologically. There we go. And here we have the parasites that are actually doing the same thing, though they have evolved over millions and millions of years to do that, you all. So this is really interesting. So this guy was he's got some pretty pictures on it, nice colorful purple. This is really pretty colors, but I wouldn't wear it. No, I don't like that. You know what this reminds me of? You ever see that fungus that pops up in the mulch? It comes up and it has these colors to it, and it has like a tip like that, and they look like they just poke up out of the mulch. I don't know what the name of them are, but this is right here, so we can like shrink it down. Real zombies and body snatchers live among us, a creepy form of parasitism is one of the evolution's favorite strategies, and scientists are starting to figure out how it works. So they just started. So this is an article from the Atlas Obscura.com is what it is. An article from the Atlas Obscura.com. And you can read it, you all. You can. So this guy is what did it say he was? Because it was a pretty good name. He's an evolutionary biologist in Spain. And what did we say he was? A parasitologist is what they are, a parasitologist. Yeah, okay, so they work in the Mantur Laboratory of Parasitology. So that's pretty interesting. So parasitology sounds like the study of parasites. And they talked about the host. The aliens take over the people and they control them. It's a good movie, he said, but I was watching it as a parasitologist and a biologist, and that level of control is impossible. Insects have a much simpler body plan. A parasitologist, you are. So the movie The Host. Let's see the movie The Host. Let's look here. The Host. I don't know what it's about. I really don't. How can that be a romantic? That ain't it, is it? It's The Host. Oh, okay, here we go. When an unseen enemy threatens mankind by taking over their bodies and erases their memory. That's what happens. Takes over the people's body and erases their memories. That'd be really scary if you think about it. Oh, that looks like Cthulhu coming out of the water. But I know it's not Cthulhu. You all see this right here. So that's the movie The Host. And you don't want to watch it, I don't think. Well, that looks that is weird. Do you ever see the movie The Host? Looks like they got lots of movies out on it. I've never seen it. But you don't want it. You don't want it. That's right, you all. You don't. Let's just leave that at that. So that's it's kind of a gigantic parasite. It looks like it can walk on land. It kind of looks like Cthulhu. Why do they do that? Really, you have to ask yourself, why do they? But it's not. It's not. Okay, I'm done with this. I'm not going on any longer. So we're going to get them out of here. We're going to get this pretty picture back on here because it is a pretty picture. The real zombies and body snatchers that live among us. And they do. And they can attack your brain and take control of you that way. And or they can control your... put some neurotransmitter, do something to your muscles and control you that way is what they can do. They can eat you from the inside out. They can do it all. So I think we're done. We are. That's right. Yeah. So Hydra vulgaris is Laura Honey. That's right, you all. We got this parasite right here, parasitic, and you can have a symbiotic relationship with one of these if they get in your body, whether you want to or not, because they ain't going to give up so easily, you all. They're not. They're going to take over your body. That's right. So with that being said, let me cover up the head right there. Thank you for listening. And please give this video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, you all, because there's parasites and real zombie body snatchers living among us. There are in the animal kingdom, in the mammal kingdom, and we just don't know what our fate's what's going to be our fate one day. We don't. Some people don't. And people have been infected by these parasites. They get the rabies. Humans get the rabies if they got bit by something. Yeah, and the disease, like from ticks and stuff like that, they can like go to your brain. All kinds of stuff. They can affect your body on the inside in ways that you could never imagine and make you feel like you're dying. They can. So with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello. From my heart to yours, love you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, you all, at 6:46 p.m. That's right, you all. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. You just stay alert. Now you know a little bit more about real zombies and body snatchers. And you know that there is a such thing called a parasitologist. They study parasitic stuff. They do. Love you.